Sup, y'all? Welcome back to Good Game Reviews. We gonna go ahead and make this short, cause even though this is the last game of the season, Week 17, home game, all of that good stuff. I mean, I don't want to underestimate any opponent, but seeing who it is and seeing where it is and seeing how much this game means for the Patriots in terms of like the spot they're gonna have in the playoffs. Like everything in this game comes down to whether or not they get a first round bye or not. And I don't think that they're gonna, jeopardize that just because they're playing the Dolphins. What? What is going on? Okay. Anyway, I don't think they're gonna jeopardize, anything just because they're playing the Dolphins. So that being said, let's just go ahead and get to the list. It's pretty much gonna be a wash, but I'm gonna go ahead and just go through everything, starting with the QB matchup. When you look at the numbers, just overall, like going through the whole season, the numbers are not that far off, even in terms of passing yards. Fitzpatrick has about over 3,200 passing yards. Brady has about over 3,800 passing yards. I mean, it's pretty close. Completion percentages is really close. QBR is really close. Yards per pass attempt is really close. The thing that distanced them, the thing that you kind of look at it, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Is the touchdown to interception ratio between the two quarterbacks. Fitzpatrick is sitting at 19 touchdowns with 13 interceptions. Meanwhile, Brady only has 7 interceptions on the season with 22 touchdowns. So when you look at that, I mean, it's pretty obvious who has shown the ability to take care of the ball more. And going into this matchup, I think that's going to play a part. Even though it is the Dolphins, I think this plays a part. How well can we take care of the ball? That's really all it comes down to. You don't want to give away any free plays or any free scores or whatever. So it really comes down to that. And frankly, I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick will be able to take care of the ball against this defense. He didn't do too much. He didn't do too well of a job the last time he had to play the Patriots. This was back in Miami. So yeah. As far as running back position, this one probably was like the easiest that I had to do in this, like during the whole season. Like I don't think I had an easier, decision to make as far as running back spot goes when it came to a game. I gave that one to the Patriots simply because if you look at who's the leading rusher for this team, it's Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is the leading rusher for this team. A little over 200. He is the leading pass rusher for this team. It's crazy. They don't have a running game. They don't have a running game at all. Meanwhile, Sony Michel is obviously the Patriots' leading rusher. He's around 8. Well, actually, he's over 800. I don't see him getting to 1,000. He's only at like 850 something. I don't see him getting to 1,000. He didn't get to 1,000 last season. He would have had a good chance to get to 1,000 if he would have played a full season. This season he does play a full season. He didn't get to 1,000. He didn't. I mean, it was just a rough. It was just a rough season for Sony Michel. Just sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it. Speaking of Sony Michel, He also appears to be on the injury report. Reports came out saying that he was questionable for the game. So last minute addition to the injury report. Status is questionable. I see him playing, but if it's to the point where he is looking kind of like in the Jonathan Jones type, kind of a Jonathan Jones type of situation right now. If it's looking like that, they may sit him. But if it's not that bad and it looks like something he could probably tough out, then it's pretty obvious that he's going to play in this game and he's going to start in this game. As far as the wide receiver position goes, I also gave that to the Patriots because it really seems like when you look at the Dolphins, it's pretty much Devontae Parker or bust. He has been really, really good. Like in spite of how this team is doing, in spite of how this offense has done at certain points in the season, in spite of not having enough help around him, guys to take the pressure off him, in spite of him having to go against the number one corners each week, he has managed to have a pretty good season. He managed to break 1,000. He's looked good. He's looked good in this season. I mean, what can you say? But still, like, if it's just Devontae Parker, then good luck, because obviously the person who's going to be on him is Stephon Gilmore, and Stephon Gilmore will have very tight coverage on Devontae Parker. Most likely it'll be some one-on-one action going on there. I don't think they're going to double him up too much. I feel like it's just going to be Stephon versus Devontae Parker. So that's pretty much how I see that going. If they do double him up, then they'll just leave like a guy to everybody else, and I feel like the Patriots corners wouldn't really have any problem taking care of the Dolphins receivers. As far as the Patriots receivers goes, Julian Edelman, while he has been dealing with injuries, he has managed to tough it out this season. He's managed to just keep it trucking. Hasn't missed a game. So yeah, he's pretty much the heart of the offense at this point. Like if he goes, then I don't know how they can make anything happen on offense. But right now he's in there. He's pushing through it. He's making things happen. He's having a really good season. By the way, he managed to break 1,000 yards once again. So he's having a good season. So as far as the help around him goes, you guess you could say that he's kind of in the same situation as Parker, but not exactly, because you got guys like N'Keal Harry starting to come into form. Jacoby Myers is he occasionally doing his thing out there. Philip Dorsett is still in the mix, even though he hasn't really gotten any PT like that. And Mohamed Sanu is looking to turn the corner. He's looking to heat things up as the postseason arrives. Obviously, he hasn't been what we expected, considering that he was acquired by a trade of a second-round pick. Pretty high capital for a guy who has not produced as well as we thought he was going to. Has well under 200 in terms of receiving yards. Has not been very effective, but he's looking to turn the corner, so should be some good things to look out for the future. But I just feel like the receiving options for the Patriots is a little bit better than what the Dolphins have right now. As far as tight end goes, I obviously gave that position to the Dolphins, and that's weird considering that the Dolphins don't really have much of an offense. But looking at what the Patriots got at the tight end situation with Ben Watson and Matt LaCosse, I mean, they haven't been, impressive, this whole season. Obviously, when Ben Watson came back in Week 5, we thought that he was going to, give this offense a jolt, very needed jolt, and he was going to be one of Tom Brady's favorite receiving options. But that just hasn't, seemed to be the case. He hasn't really been, much of a factor in any of the games. I don't think I've seen a game where he's caught more than 4 passes, to be honest. So that's our best tight end at the moment. Minus LaCosse, who hasn't even really been on the field like that this season. It's a bit of a ride. Opposite end, you're looking at Miami. Mike Gesicki. He's pretty much, besides Devontae Parker, he's their next guy in terms of receiving options. In terms of just a receiver, he's that next guy. If there isn't any other wide receivers, then he's the next guy. And he's a pretty good tight end. Has over 500 yards. So he's looking pretty good, and he has 4 touchdowns on the season. So yeah. So I decided to give it to Miami. O-line, I gave this to the Patriots. They managed to do a very good job last week, especially considering the weapons that the Bills have on the defensive line. All of those guys just racking up sacks through the season. The fact that they was able to keep Tom Brady clean, the fact that Tom Brady didn't take any sacks during that Saturday game, pleased me very much and gave me some very well needed optimism going into the postseason. Looking at this offensive line. So that being said, Tom Brady has been sacked less than Ryan Fitzpatrick has behind this line. I've already stated that they haven't really had much of a running game, which, you can contribute to the offensive line, even though there is a lack of running back options for the Miami Dolphins. But I decided to give the offensive line spot to the New England Patriots. As far as just defensive players overall, Miami obviously boasts one of the worst, if not the worst, defense in the league. I'm not sure if their spot was 32 or 31, but they are obviously the worst defense, near that bottom. They're very in there. If they're not the worst, then they're second to last. They have a very, 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 very awful defense. If you look at the stats that just, you can go to any website that, has stats for the defensive players on any team. It's not that hard to look up. It's just not impressive. I'm staring at it right now. I am staring at it right now, and I see one guy who has over 3 sacks. It's 3.5. It's a linebacker, Sam Agavion. I can't even pronounce the guy's name. I'm not even going to front. It's 3.5 sacks. That is bad. That is very bad. Nothing to really boast about as far as this defense goes. They're starting guys like Eric Rowe, which is one of the Patriots cast off. If you're close to me, you know how I feel about Eric Rowe. I think he's an atrocious corner. I don't like his play at all. He tends to get burnt almost anytime he has to cover a legitimate receiver. I just don't like him. I don't like his play. Now the person himself, I don't know, but as far as the player goes, I don't like him. And the fact that they're starting him, it's yeah. So nothing really good to say about this defense. You know the Patriots are going to pretty much take this whole thing. They're going to take defensive end. They're going to take D-line. They're going to take the linebacker spot, especially the cornerback and the safety spot. So it's not really much of a point even going into that. As far as special teams, I decided to give that to the Patriots because they don't really have any. They don't really have much of and that's weird to say. You know, we don't like to pay attention to the special teams a lot, but I mean, you look at it and it's like their best returner is on IR. It came to the point where they had a tight end returning kickoffs. I mean, how bad can it get when you have a tight end at some point returning a kickoff? That's crazy. Like literally, the guy has 4 attempts for 45 yards returning kickoffs. What more do you want to say? As far as like is their kicker goes, I mean, extra points pretty good, field goals not so good. 75%, field goal kicking. 21 made, 28 missed. I mean, 21 made on 28 attempts. So, not pretty good. Yeah. It's nothing really to speak about on this team. So, defensive wise, special teams wise, not a really strong unit. Not at all. As far as the coaching, Brian Flores, obviously, I believe he can be a really good coach. This just wasn't his season. The way things have gone, the fact that they have 4 wins on the season is a miracle in itself. So, I mean, props to him. Obviously, he kind of like got rid of that. I don't think they're tanking. I think it's just that the team is just that bad. I don't really think they're tanking. Obviously, they would have tried to do a way worse job than they have. Obviously, they wouldn't have put Ryan Fitzpatrick out there to start, all of these games, because Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's out there giving it his all. He's out there, trying to ball, as best as he can. So obviously, I think if they really were trying to tank, they wouldn't even started him. They would have started Josh Allen, and it would have been like, look, we're trying to get his confidence up. We're trying to, we're trying to show you that we believe in not Josh Allen. God, what's the kid's name? Oh, that's sad. I can't. He's only been the year. I mean, he's only been in the league 2 seasons. I already forgot the man's name. Josh Rosen. Good God. Yeah, Josh Rosen. If they really believed in Josh Rosen, if they really wanted to tank, they would have put Josh Rosen out there and pretty much had him, jump into the fire and be like, look, we believe in Josh Rosen, all that good stuff, and yada yada yada. But as far as Brian Flores goes, I think he's a good coach, and I don't really think he's trying to tank. I think he's out there really doing the best that he can with what he's got, and he doesn't have much. Really, I just think they're rebuilding right now. They're really in the process of rebuilding, but looking at a team that looks like they've been rebuilding for the past decade is just, I mean, what are they doing? I don't know. I don't know how to just turn into a video where I'm bashing the front office for the Dolphins, but no, yeah. But as far as coaching goes, we're going to get it at the Belichick. So, yeah. And looking at this list, it is pretty much a wash, like I said it was going to be. Yeah. 11-1 Patriots. On the list that I have put out, landslide. If I would give a prediction for this, I would say that the Patriots find a way to win this game by at least 20 points. Patriots are not going to put up. We're not going to see Tom Brady just come out and put up 6 touchdowns on this team, no matter how bad this defense is. I don't think he's doing that. At the very most, a number that I could really see them putting up is probably 2 touchdowns for Tom Brady or 3 touchdowns for Tom Brady. I can see them winning about over 20 though. I can see them winning by about 21. So yeah, not really, not really much to go by on this. If I were to come up with a score, what would be a good score? I guess I'll do my best Cynthia impression and say 28-7 or something like that. Just something like that. 28-7. So yeah, they somehow find a squeeze in a touchdown near the end of the game. Garbage time, doesn't really matter. Patriots already have the win in the bag. Patriots go on to secure the second seed, and get the first round bye. Yeah. So yeah, this video wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be. Lies. It actually is long. Maybe that rant about the coaching kind of threw me off. But anyway, that's this video. This is the last video of the regular season. Tune in for the playoffs, which I will start once that game comes up. Hopefully I won't have to, be out on the lookout for that for a little while, because Patriots really need to win this game. So yes. But as far as just the playoffs itself, I would like for y'all to look out for the prediction. I'm going to do a prediction video for the playoffs, because everybody and their mom does a prediction video, and why shouldn't I? I got opinions too, so I'm gonna do a prediction video. So whatever. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, I'm out.